Hi everyone, my name is Ingrid Hicklin. I'm the host and producer of Ingrid's World. I am so glad you have chosen to watch the show. We will welcome back to Ingrid's World correspondents Taylor Walden, Jalen Jenkins, and Jacob Jenkins. They will discuss their tour of the National Museum of African American History and Culture. Then we'll meet Cassandra, Jenkins, and Brittney Brown discussing watching Oprah, an exhibit at the National Museum of African American History and Culture. So let's welcome our first guest, Taylor Walden, Jalen Jenkins, and Jacob Jenkins. Welcome to the show.
Glad to be here.
So you all visited the museum.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was fun. What did you like the best about it, Taylor?
I like mainly about how many African Americans achieve great things like music and sports.
What did you like best about the museum?
It was educational, talks about my history, shows a lot of positive things about African Americans.
And Jalen, what was your take on that?
I like how it elaborated on historical things for African Americans.
Elaborate. Did you learn anything new there? Something that you didn't? What did you learn new?
Oh, I learned how the stuff that's going on back then, like police brutality and racial injustice, is still going on today.
Yeah, well, that's very powerful what you're saying, because you saw things that happened historically, but now you can look at today and say the same thing is happening now. Wow. What about you, Jacob?
Yes, I learned that slavery was formed. Slavery was not a choice. I also learned about civil rights people like Rosa Parks.
Wow, wonderful. And Taylor, you know,
I learned how there was a lot of racism and but fight for their freedom. There's a lot of people who got killed and hurt for trying to be trying to just get fair rights. Like Martin Luther King, he tried to help all African Americans get equal rights.
Yes, exactly. Did you learn anything new? Something that you're I saw these beautiful pictures that you took in front of historical figures. There's a picture that we're going to show on screen of you standing next to Michael Jordan making that shot. Yeah. What made you want to do that?
I just like basketball a lot, so I thought it would be a good picture if I just copied this form.
And then you did too, right? In front of there. That's great. And you also did. What other things got you excited about being there?
Sports exhibits, different things.
The sports exhibits, they were pretty powerful. There was one of the pictures that we saw that you were standing, running in place with Jesse Owens. That was pretty amazing. That really. And then you were doing the little boxing thing there. That was very nice also. What about in terms of, so why should people come to this museum? What do you think? Why should they be visiting?
Because it could elaborate on different aspects of African American culture and history.
I think they should have the right to learn about African American history and what went on back then. They have the right to learn what happened back then.
Right. So you said you learned new things here. Taylor, did you tell me what new? Did you learn something new there?
I learned that back then a lot of people had died from trying to get equal rights. Not just Martin Luther King, but a lot of other people. They got arrested, got hurt. They were trying to get equal rights, but they wouldn't allow that.
Right. Yeah, I remember there was a picture. We're not showing it on television, but you were actually sitting there at the lunch counter and really taking a look at some of the things there. What did you think about visiting there, Jacob?
Pretty fun.
It was fun? What was the best part of it?
Seeing how long Shaq's shoe was.
Very good, very good. So if someone would say, because I heard some other people say, well, I don't like museums. they're like boring. What would you say to them?
I mean, I said the same thing. I didn't think it was gonna be as fun, but like once I truly went and saw different exhibits, that's when it expanded my mind.
Ah, so you said the same thing. You said it'll be boring. Yeah. What about you, Taylor?
I kind of thought that way too, like it was going to be boring and stuff. Like I was just walking around seeing things, but then I learned like a lot about like my culture and what happened back then. That I really like felt sorry for them back then.
Yeah. It really, I like going to a museum, but then also it makes you kind of sad too, because you're kind of like wondering, how did they get through it? My goodness, it had to be very, very difficult, but we're really thankful that they did all that hard work and made the sacrifices. Did you think it was boring, Jacob, at first? Yeah, at first. But you enjoyed it when you got there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Were you surprised to see one of the sports figures there?
Not really.
Oh, no, you were. What surprised you the most?
Probably seeing all the different statues.
Oh, yeah. So when you saw all the statues like in the circle there and you walked around there, that was pretty interesting, wasn't it? Yeah. So if you go back to the museum, I wonder what would you go to look for first?
I'd go back to the sports section to fully read everything that I did when I was there, and a new exhibit if they have one.
Yeah, so you would actually like to be able to see everything there. Yeah, because I think that's the real thing, is to being able to, really make it figure out. So is that something now, what grade are you in now?
10th grade.
Pardon me?
10th grade.
10th grade? Oh my. Okay, and you're 10th, and you are?
Third.
Third?
Fifth.
Wow. So it's what grade do people should be in? Because here you are in the 3rd grade and you enjoyed going to the museum?
Yeah.
Wow. So you can really go pretty young. You can go in 3rd grade and still get a lot out of it. That's very interesting. Wow. So you want to see different exhibits. You'll probably go back to the sports area. Where will you go?
I'll go back to the sports area, see everything I miss, see how they would help me on my life.
Really? Very nice. And Taylor, what's your
I'll
probably go back to the music section because I play violin now. I'll really learn how they played music back then and how good they were.
Yeah, and in fact, I believe in the music section you can create, there's an area, I don't know whether or not you had time to go into the area where you can create a demo. Did you see that area there?
Yeah.
Oh, did you try it?
No.
No, didn't have enough time to probably do that. Right. So now, if you were doing an advertisement and said, come to the museum, what would you say?
Come to the museum, it's not as boring as you think. A lot of stuff to learn at one time. It's really fun, come with your friends.
Come with your friends. Yeah, come with your friends. How about that? And I think that's really, it makes it pretty exciting. When you go with your friends and you see that, and all of the 3 of you became friends by visiting the museum, huh? So now, I want to mention one other thing, is that, do you think we should do school trips there? Is that a good place for a school trip?
I said yes, because kids they kind of have the right to learn what happened back then. So a lot of people think it's boring. A lot of people don't really care. But if you go there, you're gonna learn a lot of things about not just you, but all your ancestors and what they went through.
And what I think is pretty fascinating. So you think we should do school trips there? I wonder what it was like to create a museum like that. Must have been a lot of hard work. Now, is this your first visit at the museum? Have you been there before?
Yes.
You have. So now you're talking about it and on the show, which is fantastic. You encourage other young people to go there. Now, when you went back to, when you got home, did you share your visit with your friends and tell your friends you went there?
I mean, kind of. I just talked about the sports section, but other than that, Not really.
What about you, Jacob? Did you share what your visit was like, visiting the museum?
No, not really.
No, not really. And what about you, Taylor?
Not really. Like I told him like I was on the show. I told him about like all the music and sports, but like besides that, no.
Oh, that's pretty. Now, what exhibit would you like to see them add to the museum? It's a big
modern day fashion, fashion exhibit.
Oh, I love it. Modern day fashion. Go ahead, Jalen. Oh my goodness. Yeah, they have fashion, but not a modern day fashion. Jacob, what about you?
How computer techs were built.
Oh, how computer techs or how computers were built? And technology?
Yes.
Wow. I have never thought about that. I love that. Great suggestion.
It's like a creative section, like teach us like how many like famous African Americans like built like a lot of things that help society, like a lot of things we use now.
Wow, I tell you, how things were built. I think that was pretty powerful there, because I think the main thing is that you're getting excited about the museum and you're learning so much. So if you ever have to teach a class on visiting the museum, what would you tell your class for the first time?
Teach them. I say like some stuff is like difficult for them to learn because they're not old enough to understand everything. But like I'll walk them through the stuff that they do understand.
Wow. And what about you, Jacob? Would you walk them? What would you do?
Teach them about African American history.
Wow, you're very good, I tell you. And so do you ever see yourself in the museum?
Yes.
I love it. Now, what would you be in the museum for? What would you like to be in the museum one day for?
Sports or dancing, one of those.
Sports or dancing?
Maybe both.
Oh, maybe. I love it. Jacob, what about you?
Sports, music, dancing.
What? Okay, both of you.
Probably sports and music.
You see yourself in the music, and what contribution are you going to make in sports and music?
Probably like a really good like basketball player, a good runner, like a very good violinist. I play violin now at my school.
Oh, great violinist. You look like a violinist. I love it, definitely. Do you play music also too, Jacob?
No, I just dance.
But dance is, I love dance. That's great. Well, it's pretty wonderful having you both, all three of you here on the show, because you're really getting us to start thinking about going to the museum. And I heard, how's the food there?
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Okay, so you all had lunch there at the museum too? Oh, very cool. So you can also go to the museum, visit all different exhibits, and then have lunch there.
Yes.
Okay, and good recommendation too. Did you like the food there
Yeah.
too? What about you, Taylor?
Kinda.
Oh yeah. Kinda. So, well, what a pleasure having the three of you here on the show. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Glad to be
Great
here.
handshake. Great, Jacob and Taylor. Great, wonderful to have them on the show. This was a great show. We were able to learn from our young people here about the African American Museum, and which is national, which is part of the Smithsonian, and I hope that a lot of people will go out there and visit. Coming up next, we'll be speaking with Cassandra Jenkins and Brittney Brown, and they're going to tell us about watching Oprah, which is a part of the museum too. So stay right there. We'll be right back. Well, welcome to the show, Cassandra Jenkins.
Thank you.
And Brittney Brown.
Hello.
So, you all visited. Well, first of all, before we jump into the interview, tell us a little bit about yourselves.
Well, my name is Cassandra Jenkins, and I'm an educator. I've been teaching for over 24 years. I'm a member of Jack and Jill Incorporated. I have 2 boys and a lovely husband named Irvin Jenkins. And I'm just so happy to be here with you, Miss Ingrid.
Thank you for being here. And Brittney Brown.
Yes, my name is Brittney Brown, and I went to Virginia State University.
All right.
I currently work at the Department of Justice, Immigration Litigation. I'm a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and I have a son who is 10 years old, Taylor Walden, who was on your segment as well. And I am newly married as of 8/18 to my husband, Charles.
Oh, beautiful.
And thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for being here. So you visited watching Oprah.
We did.
So what did you think? I mean, tell our viewers about this.
Well, Ingrid, you know, that Oprah exhibit is absolutely fabulous. You could spend an entire day in that one, segment, in that one exhibition. We went and just to see her life and just to see how you can just be a part of her circle and learning how she grew up, in charm school, and she was in pageants, and just the things that she does, and just being a great human being, and just all the wonderful things that she's contributed to our culture is just like, wow. I was just amazed. I felt like I just embodied her presence, and it was just a really great showing of her life. It really was.
I think they paid really good attention to detail in doing this exhibit. They were able to show not only the contribution that she did for our culture, but also her fashion, where she grew up. They even were able to show fan letters that she's kept over the years, which I thought was really interesting.
Does that? Yeah. Oh,
It's
that's
really
amazing.
humbling. Like, I can barely keep thank you cards, but she had fan letters from over the years that she's been able to contribute to our culture, and I just thought that was amazing.
Any surprises in that museum? When you saw the exhibit, were you?
Well, I guess because we did see the fan letters, and that was very touching to say that she wanted to make sure that she kept in touch with people and to show that she was very human. But just seeing the couch and just seeing all the things that were so super important to her, her desk with all her little memorabilia on there. It just was really a great museum to just enjoy Oprah. It truly was.
Yeah. What about any surprises for you?
Well, I personally did not know that she was a news anchor, so I was very excited to see that. I didn't know that aspect about her. And I also didn't know she had nothing to do with that exhibit. They actually,
I didn't know that.
Yes, her and her staff had nothing to do with that exhibit. They actually did all of that for her. So I know when she did her first run through the museum, it was a surprise for her as well. So it was really amazing to see all the detail they would be able to put together without her help.
Wow, that I had no idea. That is really something, because just to be able to see something like that, my word. Do you have a favorite part of the exhibit?
Oh gosh, that's so unfair, Miss Ingrid. There are so many parts that were just so fascinating. But personally, I enjoyed seeing her grow up in charm school and seeing her in the pageants. But one that's just oh my gosh, it just touches my heart was when I saw her script for The Color Purple, which is my favorite movie. So I just kind of had that moment where I was actually acting and I could see her lines and how she made little notes about, things that she was gonna do. So just the whole museum was just great, but that's just something personally that I, enjoyed because The Color Purple is my favorite movie.
Yeah.
It really is.
I really enjoyed being able to see some of her fashion. They put up some of her outfits that she's worn to these award shows, and even the movies that she was featured in, they included that, shoes that she's worn, just the details that you usually don't pay attention to.
Right.
So I enjoyed that part. Along with other things.
Yeah, but what? Seeing the clothing really just tells you a lot about the person right there. Oh my goodness. Now you said that you spoke about the studios. So they had a studio?
Yes, they had her actual Harpo studio there. And I just could imagine, the conversations with the, legends that she's had with, so many people on her couch. Just having that moment to just see her, in the moment just seeing the couch, in the Harpo studio, big sign. It was just great.
Yes.
I just felt like I was there.
Yes.
You know, they just did an awesome job of bringing, you know, the audience to her.
Oh my goodness.
She has literally interviewed over 35,000 people. Like, how many African American women can say that?
35,000.
Yes. And she had, I believe, over 4,000 episodes of the Oprah Winfrey Show. And they even included the tissue boxes under the seats as they did it in the show. So it was nice to see. It really was.
Nice.
Yeah, because some of those stories that she, you know, the people that she interviewed, some of them are heartbreaking, you know. Oh my goodness. Oh. So you said you had a favorite part in the script. Brittney, you told us about the favorite
fashion.
The
Yes.
fashion. So, anything did you feel like you would like to see more of it there?
Wow.
Because there was a lot.
There was a lot there that Oprah shared. I don't think we really saw most of her personal life.
Right.
You know, we saw most of,
no personal life?
No, we didn't see much of that.
Not much of it. And I know she does enjoy cooking. I follow her on Instagram, and she enjoys cooking. So I'm interested to see that aspect of her. I've heard her talk about it a couple times, but they didn't show too much of her personal life.
I guess our professional life is so full.
Yes.
So they said,
And
we'll just go with
extensive.
that.
Yes.
And extensive.
Yes.
We all want to be little Oprah too.
I would love to be a billionaire.
Wow. Did the exhibit inspire you? You know, did it inspire you?
You know, anything Oprah touched is just inspiring, you know, and I think she just, you know, embodies, you know, manifestation of just being great. You know, she wants you to see yourself in your greatness. And I when I walked through the museum, I could just feel like if there's something that I wanted to do personally, my challenges are such, but you can overcome them in so many ways, because we think about, you know, so many things are against us. She had a lot against her. She had a lot against her, and she was just destined to be great. You know, so I think about how, you know, here's this lady living in the rural South, and nothing stopped her. Nothing.
Tell the story.
Nothing stopped her, and her story is that, you know, she put herself in greatness. So when I think of her, you know, her inspiration is just her inspiration. She's just an inspiring person because of who she is.
Yes.
She's just a wonderful person.
Yes.
And I think for me, what's so inspiring is to see she's amazing person for Black culture, but she touches so many other audiences.
Exactly.
And she really does have an impact on just people. And that's just so amazing to see. And it was great to see the evolution of her career, what she's been able to do from a newscaster to having her own show to even still being featured in movies currently. So so she's just inspiring. She stays relevant. She's still out here improving and always challenging herself, pushing herself more and more. She's never stopped.
No.
And I think that's inspiring to all women, people of color.
Yes,
Yeah.
you know
and
what?
to see how she's evolved,
Yes.
you know, through life is just, you know, inspiring enough. But yeah, I do agree with you that just to see how she's come from this end to stardom to, you know, this big person, just this big footprint in life is just amazing. It truly is amazing that she didn't stop. And she never will. I don't think she ever will. I think they're going to have to expand the museum.
Right. Well, you know, I think it's such lessons there, you know, in terms of, you know, inspiring, and also, you know, you can make a good life without being very, sharing all of the personal, you know, stuff. You can share your both of you are professionals, so
And you know, and she even, you know, you look at her now, but when Oprah grew up, she didn't have a fluid bank account. You know, it wasn't just given to her. You know, and her hard work certainly did pay off. So, you know, you think, well, she wasn't given that silver spoon. She worked for it.
Yes.
So alone, that's inspiring.
Yeah, it really is, because one thing about it is that when you hear and you see that type of story, now, did you kind of like feel Oprah's presence when you were?
I did.
How could you not?
I did. I mean, just all the details that they paid attention to was just literally she was standing with us.
It was very elaborate.
Yeah.
They even had video clips showing some of her episodes, past episodes, especially the infamous one, "You get a car, you get a car." I mean, everyone knows that
kinda
episode.
like know that.
I wasn't there, but I remember the episode.
We wish we were there.
Right, exactly. But I think that's what, can you imagine to make that much of an impression on American culture that we all, when you say you get a car, we all like, oh, that's Oprah.
Yes,
And
very
thinking back,
memorable.
when you think about it, her audience was so diverse.
Yes.
There
It's about diversity.
everyone,
It is
every walks of life
diversity.
was just in that audience, and it wasn't just, a woman kind of show. It was everybody's show.
Wow.
She was very generous.
Well, I'd like to thank both of you for being on the
Well,
show.
thank you, Ms.
Cassandra
Ingrid.
Jenkins, love it.
Thank you for
Brittney
having me.
Brown, wonderful to have you. I'd like to thank Cassandra Jenkins, Brittney Brown, telling about their story about watching Oprah exhibit at the National Museum of African American History and Culture. I'd like to also thank Taylor Walden, Jalen Jenkins, and Jacob Jenkins, and of course our wonderful young women, Cassandra as well as Brittney, for being marvelous guests. Our quote this time is from Maya Angelou. "The more you know of your history, the more liberated you are." Thank you for watching Ingrid's World. And for instant news, follow us on Twitter and Instagram under Ingrid's World VA, and friend us on Facebook at Ingrid's World. And did you know if you miss a show, well, watch us on YouTube at Ingrid's World LLC. Today, spread the love.